Ready? Welcome in, everyone. It is myself, Will Crawford, as always. Joining me, it is going tonight be my special guest, Michael Harvey. Beautiful night for basketball, snowy night, beautiful night to be inside the gym. It is, and it's looking to be a good one for our Howell Vikings tonight, Michael.
Definitely, hopefully this cold doesn't cool this Howell Vikings team down too much as they're coming on a 5-game winning streak. They're playing great basketball. They're missing a key player. Sam Thompson is still battling his injury, but they've really been doing great as a team and had a lot of seniors stepping up and fulfilling roles. And they got a tough one tonight. This is a whole team that's had it's been a little bit of a roller coaster season for them. A couple bumps in the road here and there, but they got a lot of scores, and they're very strong defensively. They get a lot of rebounds, and for Howell not being a huge team, it should be an interesting matchup.
Yeah.
They've been cold. They've definitely been cold, but I'm excited to see what this game has in store for us.
Yeah, you were talking about how Holt has been cold. They haven't won in over a month. Their last win coming on January 5th. Their last game, they lost to Fort Zumwalt West 53-41, and that was a win, by our Howell Vikings last week. The Vikings also beat Howell Central last week 51-32, and that was just a 100% dominant performance. It was never really a game for the Spartans. The Spartans never really fell into it, I feel like, as that was just the Vikings pushing it pedal to the metal. And you were talking about how Thompson's missing, and that is a big missing factor for the Vikings, but they're actually allowing less points per game with him missing right now. And so that defense is just shutting down teams, and they're just still scoring out the wazoo, almost averaging 60 points per game. And if you're thinking about high school, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I think you got to give a lot of that credit to these players coming off the bench and fulfilling their roles. They understand that they have a big job to fulfill, and they're really coming in. You have players like Jude James coming in and really making a lot of noise defensively. You also have certain players like Royce Wibbenmeyer, who's really been coming in and making a huge impact for this team. So it's good to see this team have a lot of chemistry and really step up whenever they need to.
Yeah, me and my other partner, Billy Woods, we have talked in the past that it seems like this team could have weird chemistry issues, but that has definitely not been the case in the last month in this winning streak as well. As this has just been a fantastic team to watch. They went in the quarantine, for 2 weeks, didn't miss a beat, upset Eureka at home, So this team is 100% all the way pedal to the metal, and a good team they are. We're about a minute from tip-off. The last time these two teams met was all the way back in the beginning of the year at the Troy tournament, and there was a first quarter that was scoreless for the Holt Indians. And I don't know, I've been in this world for 22 years, Michael. I've never heard of that, of a team being not able to score in at least high school basketball.
Sometimes you almost think that they got to be trying to do it, because it definitely sounds a little unheard of. You can't bank on that, because although this team's been cold, this is a game where a team's coming off of a big, large margin win and playing a team that they might be estimating. So you got to be wary of that, and you got to play your best game no matter what. So I'm excited to see what this game has in store.
And the last time these two teams met, Howell outscored Holt in the first half 33-10, ended up winning that one 58-28. We're about to have our starters announced here at Holt. We'll take a quick timeout. You're listening to Howell Viking basketball here on the Howell Activities Network. back here at Holt High School. And starters being announced, of course, for your Howell Vikings. Number 2, 5'10" senior Preston Fortner, 5'11" senior Sam Maddox, 6'1" senior number 4 Matt James, number 11 Booker Simmons, the 6-foot junior Booker Simmons, still getting those starting reps that he deserves. And then, of course, the 6'6" senior number 42 David Trupiano. And what a defensive game does this starting 5 bring for the Howell Vikings?
Yeah, you know, as we mentioned before, this team really has to stand up with a key player missing, and they've really been playing their roles well. You mentioned David Trupiano. He's been coming in and has been leading the team in rebounds every game he's played in so far, which, as a big, that's what you need to do, especially whenever you're missing such a key factor.
Absolutely. Starters on the other side, number 2, Jackson Crisco, the 6'2" junior. Number 13, Robert Masanica, 6'1" junior. Number 22, Daniel Looney, a 6'2" junior. Number 23, Emmanuel McElmore. Excuse me, not Emmanuel McElmore. He said Emmanuel McElmore. I'm almost certain, but it's definitely Zarius Looney, number 25, on the court right now. And then to finish the starting 5 out is number 34, Lewis Bigler, someone that we did not see to start the year. So it is going to be Zarius Looney, Daniel Looney, Robert Masnica, and Jackson Crisco. Meeting at half court is Looney and Trupiano. The half court heave goes, or the half court tip off goes to the Holt Indians. Holt Indians trying to start off hot here early. And now here is Crisco with holding the point guard position here. That's tipped away from Matt James, but able to corral it is Zarius Looney. Outside it goes to Robert Masnica. Inside it goes now to Looney. Now it's Masnica can't hold on to it. Ball on the floor to Matt James, and it's going to go off of Bigler. It's going to stick with the Vikings.
And you know, just right out the gate, that size was definitely apparent during this attack down here, but Howell's doing a very good job containing it and trying to get the best out of it and walking away with the ball.
Absolutely. Here's Fortner now. Fortner doing a fantastic job. He had 8 last week. Didn't even really play much of that second half due to just some cramp issues happening in the right ankle injury. There's Fortner for 3, and that's good. Preston Fortner, something that the Vikings have started out with the last 3 games is just a Fortner 3, and just like that, it's a 3-0 lead for the Vikings.
And it doesn't look like those cramps are affecting them too much with that shot. That's a great shot, composed, and starting the game off with a steal and a 3.
Yep, and there goes Fortner the other way. Fortner going to take it all the way to the hoop. Fortner now with 5 just like that.
It's definitely good to see Fortner out there tonight because, like you mentioned, he had some ice during those last couple quarters. I understand it was a pretty big blowout game, but he still had to worry a little bit.
And that's a 3. That's no good. Rebound to Trupiano. And that just shows how valuable Fortner is, even when he doesn't score. There's a find from Fortner to Maddox, and just like that, it's a timeout for the Holt Indians and a 7-0 lead for the Vikings in under 2 minutes.
Yeah, coming out high, Trupiano jumping over the big man, Zarius Looney, who's, I mentioned earlier, he's been averaging almost 8 rebounds a game, which is very impressive for high school numbers, and Trupiano did a good job managing him there under the basket.
Absolutely. 7-0 is the score. Head coach Kurt Jacob telling his team to do a fantastic job just to keep up what they're doing. Can't get much more perfect of a start than that. 2 for 2 or 3 for 3 on your shots, holding the other team to 0 points. For the boys staff, it's head coach Kurt Jacob. Gary Hill is the varsity assistant. Doug McBaker, Landon Shipley, Chris Wilkinson, Larry Cunningham, and Grant Agbo. Athletic trainer is Cody Elmendorf for your Howell Vikings coaching staff. The Vikings, of course, in their blue unis tonight with the yellow numbers and stripes on the waistline and pants, and that's going to be Matt James with the rebound.
Matt James going up strong again, getting another rebound over Zarius Looney.
And James goes up with it, no good on the shot. Trupiano get the putback, no good on the putback though. And goes the other way now for the Holt Indians. Holt in their white uniforms with the gold numbers and lettering. Masnica now over to Looney. Looney inside the Burke-Spigler, and the push away from James, and a call a foul. See who it's against, if it's against James or Booker, and it's going to go against James. 5:33 here, just getting started at Holt. Inbounding is Masnica, finds the Looney. Here is now Zarius Looney. Here's Crisco. It's Emmanuel McElmore now. He's now drawing in Crisco. Crisco back out. Now here's Masnica. Masnica against Maddox. Holt taking a ton of time trying to find offensive possession. Taken away that time by Sam Maddox. Now it's Matt James able to corral the loose ball. Here's Fortner now. Fortner out to James. James inside to Trupiano. Trupiano tries to go up with it. He does, and that's good from David Trupiano. And that's what you love to see from the big man, because if Trupiano has any flaws, it's just somehow missing those under the bucket shots.
Yeah, you know, he went up there real confident with that shot. You knew that thing wasn't going in. Took a couple bounces, but you knew that thing was finding the net for sure.
Very vocal Holt team, and as they finally get on the scoring board, over 3 minutes now, and that's Looney with the three. It's still a 9-3 lead though, and that's another find.
And it looked like they counted it as a 2 there.
Yeah, it definitely looked like a 3.
Looks like just a deep 2 there, but he went up confident with it.
Now 4 minutes go, already a 9-point lead, and it's going to be a travel call going against Looney. Zarius Looney disagreeing, trying to argue his case, not able to get it. Checking in for the Indians is number now Caden Moore, 32. So a hot start here once again for the Vikings. Something that we've talked about, especially last game, Billy and I talked about, Michael, is that the Vikings like to play close against teams that have been struggling. This is definitely another good start for the Vikings.
Definitely, you know, I mean, sometimes there are cases where teams sometimes play down to their opponents, and it doesn't look like there's any signs showing that right now, as they're forcing a lot of turnovers and really making some big-time shots here.
So another turnover for the Holt Indians, only 2 points through over 4 minutes now here in the beginning of the quarter. Kurt Jacob pretty much halfway on the court here coaching, and you might not even notice it, but what a fantastic job does head coach Jacob.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it just shows you how much he cares about the sport. Although this team's already in a big lead, he wants to be involved. He wants to connect with these guys, and you can see that through the chemistry as they're playing on the court.
Booker going to the line for 2 now as he's fouled. Checking in will be Shane Kirby. See who he's coming in for. Maybe Fortner to limit some minutes for the starting point guard. Booker misses the first one. And it's going to be for Matt James. Booker's second shot. That one's good for Booker Simmons. Simmons, the other night, he had 8 against Howell Central. Now here is a 3 from the Holt Indians. That's no good. Rebound goes to the Vikings maybe, and Booker is able to corral the loose ball.
And you know, we mentioned it earlier about how this defense has really been stepping up and allowing very few points. Whenever you're bringing off a guy like, bringing on Shane Kirby there, that's a good defensive guy to come in, and he really shows his presence on the defensive side of the court. Yeah,
Kirby right now is outside by about 3.5 or 4 inches, and he loves all of the disadvantages. He takes it, and that's a floater. That's no good, and it's going to go off of Caden Moore and stick on to the other side. It goes to the Vikings.
Yeah, you know, sometimes players prefer to be that underdog player, and he really lives up to that hype for sure.
Yeah, Kirby is always covering the biggest threats. That's a 3 from Maddox. That's no good. Rebound goes to the Holt Indians. 2:36 to go, and that's a hit out of bounds by Fortner. Fantastic job from Preston Fortner. And that's taken away now by Fortner. Fortner, he's going to take it straight to the rim, and that's an easy layup for Preston.
Fortner very active on the defensive side, you know, something I don't see too often, but he's been all over the court on this side down here.
Yeah, Fortner is a fantastic puts a fantastic defensive effort out there, and he's fantastic on the defensive side of the ball, and that's where he usually has a strong suit, but he already has 7 of the 14 this evening, and that's another travel for the Holt Indians, and it's just kind of discombobulated right now on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, you know, you mentioned earlier how they held them scoreless through a quarter, and they're essentially doing it pretty close right now as they're only allowed 2 points.
Now that's a corner. Now it's Maddox inside. It's going to be tipped away, and it goes the other way to the Holt Indians. Back to the top it goes now to Zarius Looney. Looney going to hand it off. Back to Looney it goes, though. The Looney brothers getting some rhythm maybe going. Here's now Zarius again. Zarius Looney going to give it to the top to Caden Moore. And then he's just going to easily hand it to Fortner there. Here's Maddox now. Maddox somehow not fouled there, and he's going to lay it up. No good. Goes off of Kirby out of bounds, and what a chain of events that was for the Holt Indians and the Howell Vikings. Checking in now is going to be Royce Wibbenmeyer for Booker Simmons. Here now is Crisco. Crisco with the floater. That's no good. Rebound, though, goes to Looney. Looney trying to make a move. He goes up with it. And that's no good. Rebound to Maddox, and Caden Moore is going to be fouled. Not sure what the foul could be there, but, you know, we'll take it as Viking fans.
Definitely curious to see where that was from, but definitely taking the ball in our hands again here as the Vikings have a strong, demanding lead, 14-2.
So, yeah, it is 14-2. Minute left here in the first quarter. Checking in is going to be the sophomore Jude James, and he's just fantastic to watch underneath the bucket. Jude James trying to make a move. Fortner now again with the 3. Fortner no good. Rebound. It's going to be hit out of bounds off of a Maddox. It looked to be off of a Holt Indian, but it is going to be Holt Indian ball. Maybe last possession time as there's only 48 seconds. And there is a pass to Daniel Looney. Daniel Looney now to Zarius Looney. Zarius outside to Daniel. Now in the left wing. To Zarius it goes, back outside it goes. That's a deep 3. That's an air ball. Wibbenmeyer gets the air ball. Wibbenmeyer now racing down court. Out to Kirby, back to Wibbenmeyer. Wibbenmeyer inside to Maddox it goes, but it's going to go off of a Holt Indian.
Quite the ambitious effort from that deep 3 down here on the Holt side. I guess he was trying to get something in to get this team energized. As you can imagine, after a first quarter like that, it's probably hard to get going a little bit.
And there's going to be a foul underneath on Jude James, and still a good defensive play that time, or offensive play I should say that time, from the Vikings. Up by 12 right now. And it's still kind of been an off quarter on the offensive side of the ball for the Vikings, even though they are up by 12. And that's going to be taken away by Fortner. Jude James poked it away. Fortner able to corral it. Here's Fortner, 5 seconds to go. Wibbenmeyer, he's going to get it to Kirby, to James. James going to go up. He's going to be blocked. He's going to be fouled as time expired. So James is going to go to the line for 2.
It might have been a fortunate call for the Vikings there because it looked like Zarius Smith got up there pretty well, but we'll take it to get some 2 more points on the board, hopefully going into the end of the quarter.
And that's going to be Zarius Looney, or Daniel Looney, excuse me, with his first foul. Can't really see here from the free throw range. The player's standing up, but So see if they add like a 1/10 of a second or something. Or checking the clock.
You can hear the beep, so they're doing a little bit of something, but not 100% sure on what.
James's first one, no good. Second one is up. That one's also no good. And they throw it up for a heave. The Holt Indians do, and it's going to stick to the score of 14-2. We'll take a quick timeout. You're listening to Holt and Howell basketball here on Howell Activity. Back on the court to start the second quarter here. 12-point lead right now for the Howell Vikings. 14-2 is the score. And what a lopsided effort it was last time. It's looking to maybe be the same here at Holt High School. That last game was at Troy, so it was neutral court. And there's Sam Maddox with an easy floater. Makes it 16-2. Maddox now has 6 on the evening. High score still is Fortner with 7. Here's now a drive. No travel call. There it is. I was kind of wondering where that travel call was, and it was just a late one. Is another turnover for the Holt Indians.
Yeah, it looks like he wanted to walk that ball into the basket there, as it was a little delayed call.
Coming the other way are the Howell Vikings now. Kirby, James, Maddox, Fortner, as that's in the corner, and Wibbemeyer on the court to start here in the second quarter. Here's Maddox, tried to find Wibbemeyer. What a ball movement right there by the Vikings. Here's Maddox. Maddox gonna drive in, floats it up, tries to get it off the backboard, no good. Maybe just force that one. Still a good offensive possession that time by the Vikings, as they're showing good off passing. Here it is outside. That's going to be tipped away by Fortner, and here comes Wibbemeyer. Wibbemeyer lose control over it, and checking in is going to be David Trupiano and Matt James.
Yeah, one interesting note about tonight is the absence of Emmanuel McLemore, a dominating player essentially, almost averaging 16 points per game, and it looks like he's not getting out there tonight, which is a huge move for the Howell Vikings tonight.
They're also missing Landon English, who averages 8.6 points per game, and we haven't seen him yet tonight. There it is inside. Here's Matt James. Matt James is going to drive. He's got the and one. Talk about a bucket there.
And Trupiano with a great find from under the basket there, as he looked out and saw Matt James, made a strong drive to the basket and really worked hard for those points, and hopefully an and one opportunity.
So, trying to make it now 19-2 is Matt James. Free throw is good. Fun fact about Matt James, he's going to our alma mater, Michael Harvey. He's going to become a part of the Lindenwood baseball team. He signed with Lindenwood earlier this month, and that's a bucket that time by Zarius Looney. There for a score since about halfway through the first quarter.
That is one thing about these Howell Vikings teams is they're filled with a lot of athletes. Just when you think they're good at one sport, they'll be committing for another sport. Howell has had a huge tradition about doing that.
And that's going to be something there. It's going to go in the other way for the Holt Indians. Another turnover for the Vikings, though. So, yeah. So you think of all the talent that's on this Vikings team, like Sam Maddox, baseball player, Shane Kirby, baseball player. You know, Booker Simmons, he's looking to be the next quarterback for the Howell Vikings. Jude James, phenomenal on the line for the Howell Vikings in football. You got to think on the lineup here, there's only 2 or 3 actually natural-only basketball players.
Yeah, like I said, it's been quite a trend here in this rich Francis Howell tradition of creating athletes. Calvin Munson from a few years ago is in the NFL, and he was a state state All-American baseball player. You know, they've had a strong tradition, as you can tell, with this team as well.
Here's Maddox now. Maddox jump shot from the free throw line. That's no good. Trupiano with the rebound. He goes back up, gets the foul called, and he's going to go to the line for 2. Now it's going to be Fortner looking to check back in. See who he's checking in for. Trupiano's first free throw is up. No good, though. Francis Howell looking to make a district run once again this year. They won it last year. Our district assignment is not the hardest, but definitely has a tough one in there with Fort Zumwalt North. They also have Fort Zumwalt West and Francis Howell Central. So it should be an interesting matchup that we have coming up here in districts at the end of the month, beginning of next month.
And that is one thing. Another thing you got to be weary about is those district games. It's a whole nother level, you know. I mean, teams really up their intensity and energy, and you got to be ready to play every game like it's your last, because for a lot of these seniors, it could be. So I'm excited to see what this team does, though, because you know they're looking to make a run.
That was Caden Moore with the 3, no good. Rebound goes the other way for Matt James. Here's Booker now. Booker inside the Trupiano. Trupiano with the move. He goes up with it, and that's no good. Rebound goes back to Trupiano. And they call a foul on Trupiano or Burks Bigler, and then calling on Trupiano. (20-4), still the lead. 4:48 to go. Checking in is Donovan Sparks for Trupiano. So Holt Indians trying to find some offensive mojo, trying to get going here before the end of the first half, but that's just taken away by Kirby, and he's going to go coast to coast with it. Makes it 22, to 4 with 4:30 to go, and that's going to be another timeout for the Holt Indians. See if it's a 30-second or full. Oh no, it's going to be a whistle. It's not going to be a timeout, just a whistle on the floor. Confusing whistle there. Not sure what you might have saw from your angle, Michael. I thought it was going to be a Holt timeout, but they just stopped the whistle and put him on the baseline.
It very well could be that the refs were implying that that's what they should do. He might have been assuming, but I guess not, and we got some more basketball to go.
Here's Looney underneath against Sparks. Just a size differential from Sparks and Looney taking over there, and Sparks not a big guy at all. That's Fortner, jump shot, no good. And it's going to be Holt able to get the loose ball, and now there's going to be a foul call. That's going to be on Sparks, his first.
Yeah, that's quite the mismatch there. You know, that's a tough assignment for Sparks, who gets a little bit of time on the varsity squad here, but coming in and marking a guy like Zarius Looney, that's a tough assignment, and excited to see how this fares. Comparing
to the rosters, there's only about an inch or 2 size differential, but probably 100 pounds differential. Zarius Looney is definitely bulkier and built, and Sparks kind of the smaller type, as they also are 2 years apart, and that's another miss for Holt. Coming the other way is Preston Fortner, and it's going to go off of Indian and stick with Fortner and the Vikings. But you got to think of these sophomores. There's not very many of them on this Howell Viking team. A lot of seniors, couple juniors, but you got to give it credit to head coach Kurt Jacob. He knows how to pick those sophomores as Donovan Sparks and Drew James provide pretty great minutes off the bench for the Vikings.
Absolutely. I mean, those sophomores really come in and make their impact. I mean, Jude James, we've been seeing a lot of within these last couple games, as we mentioned before. With Sam Thompson out, they need a little bit more of a defensive threat, and he really comes in and brings a different energy to that defense. And we see him perform. But like you said, this is a big senior team, and this is a very important year for them, as a lot of these seniors are looking forward to their future. They want to end it off on a big stepping stone here.
Yeah, a lot of these seniors were a part of that Final Four team a couple years ago when Howell went to Springfield, and that's including Sam Thompson and Sam Maddox, Matt James, Fortner. A lot of them, when I sat down with them last week, talked about that Final Four team and how much it would mean to them to get back there. And something you definitely need is depth, and this Howell Viking team has it, and that's going to be another turnover, or no, it's going to be a foul against Shane Kirby. That's their fifth.
And you know, as a senior, it's something you always remember, especially if you're a freshman, senior. You always remember that run that you made. And I'm really excited to see what this team does this year, because they got a really strong team. And
that's going to be Looney underneath the bucket, able to get that one up and in. And with no Tripiano in the game and Kirby on someone else, that's a pretty easy bucket for Looney. That's a three, though. That's no good. That's too short. Rebound goes to Looney. So there's Looney providing great minutes for the Holt Indians. Here's Crisco. Excuse me, that's not Crisco. Crisco is rushing to the basket. Here's now Looney against Sparks. Looney floats it, no good, off the backboard into Booker Simmons' hands it goes. Simmons coming the other way.
Sparks with some good defense there, making him take a uncomfortable shot there.
James now going up with it. That's good. That's been the first bucket of the while for the Howell Vikings, finally getting back into the scoring column. 24-8 is the lead with 2:20 to go here in the first half. So I guess we were spoiled with a good game, and the girls won. Is the Howell Vikings are looking to maybe make their lead 20 points going into the halftime break.
They're definitely they're on pace for it, and it looks like they're aiming for it. But, you know, like you mentioned, that was a kind of big scoring drought there, as they let up about 6 points during it without scoring any. So, you know, maybe this game can get a little closer.
Something you have to love that from the Holt Indians is, despite, you know, already being down by 16, they're not giving up. They're still playing very hard for their head coach, and Charles Arnold, and they're still playing like they're right in this game, and that it's a 2-point game instead of a 16.
Yeah, you know, I mean, you got to think, although this first half has been a pretty commanding lead, they still a whole second half left to basketball. And, you know, we've seen a lot of things happen in this sport because, as many people say, it's a game of runs, and you never know what could happen. But as of right now, this Howell team looks very demanding, and it doesn't look like they're planning on stopping.
And it's a big offensive effort as Trupiano hits that first free throw here as he got fouled going up for the shot. Makes it 25-8. And they have, you know, we saw big comebacks before. We saw it this year when Holt was down by 16 plus to St. Dominic, and they came back and they ended up winning that game. They were down to Troy. It seemed like their first 5 games that they ended up winning. They were always down going into the fourth quarter and were comebacks and giving us broadcasters heart attacks. But recently on this win streak, they've all been kind of commanding except that Eureka one. And that's when Sam Maddox came alive in that third quarter, hitting 4 3-pointers, including that buzzer beater.
Man, was that game something to watch. I mean, down 6 points with about a minute to go, and then they come back and get it done. That just shows you the energy this team has. They all match it with each other, and they come together and can create something really, really fun to watch.
26-8 is the score, minute 14 to go here in the second quarter. Fortner forcing another turnover, at least his 4th of the game. You got to think, as that's blocked by Burke Bigler.
I mean, he is all over the court tonight. He's reading these passes and reading these lanes that they're throwing him into, and he's just really taking over this defense. It's fun to watch.
Yeah, Burke Bigler loving the hairstyle, loving the hair flow that he has. Here it comes the other way are the Indians. Crisco going up with it, trying to draw a foul, no call. Here comes Fortner the other way now, full steam ahead. He's going to find Maddox inside. Maddox, what a find and what a bucket that time from the Vikings. 28-8, 20-point lead with less than a minute to go here in the second quarter. Here is now Masnica. Masnica, someone else you don't see in this game, but you thought you would with his size is for Holt is Dallas Winter Johnson, a 6'6 sophomore, a great football player for Holt, but haven't seen him here in this one yet on the basketball court. That's a 3, no good, and that's going to be a foul. See if it's going to go against Burke Bigler or a Viking. That's going to go against Matt James.
And you know, you were mentioning hair earlier. One thing you got to talk about Holt, they might be an all-hair team. You got some nice flow out there tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. You got Masnica with the good orange hair perm going on. You got Burke Bigler with the long hair. You got Looney with the great, is that a fade? You got a great fade from Looney.
With the James Worthy glasses,
Yeah.
the iconic goggles. I tell you what, they got that game part out situated.
So that's Looney with 2 there. He has now game high or team high 5 points. Here's now Fortner inside the Booker, back out to Fortner. Fortner, he's going to drive. 4 seconds to go. Jump shot from the baseline. That's no good. Rebound to Booker. Booker puts it back in. That's good by Booker Simmons. You just got to love what Booker Simmons has to offer for your team, and what a bucket that was to end the half.
We went from talking about fades and hairstyles to a little fadeaway jumper. Get 2 points at the buzzer there. That's a great play, and as you mentioned, Vikings going into half up 20.
So the last time these two teams met, it was a 33-10 game going into half. Here we are again with the 30-10 game going into half just here at Holt High School. And this is all without their big man, Sam Thompson. So what a dominating first half once again. You know, they dominated against Howell Central. They didn't dominate against West, but the game was not as close as the score showed, you know.
Yeah.
And they're dominating here in the first half once again.
You know, one note you have to make about this Holt Indians team is you have to understand they're missing 2 of their top 3 players, and they're still closer than what they were the first time they played. So they're making improvements, and some players are, you know, adjusting for this game. It's unfortunate that we can't see a guy like Emmanuel McLemore, who's a very, very impressive basketball player, and Landon English as well. It'd really make this game a little closer, and it's unfortunate that we can't see it. But, yeah, Vikings look good, and hopefully they can close this out.
Absolutely. So we'll take a quick timeout. It's 8:56 left at halftime. You're listening to Howell Viking basketball here on the Howell Activities Network. Back here, folks, at Holt High School. Sorry about that. Our little iRig thing died here, so we're back here, though, at Holt High School. It's still a 38-14 lead in favor of our Howell Vikings. Vikings still doing a fantastic job on the defensive side of the ball, and it seems like all the scoring, Michael, is coming from Looney on the other side.
Yeah, you know, like I said, unfortunately for Holt, they're kind of missing two of their key places, and he's standing up, and he's showing a little bit of frustration as he's not getting a whole lot of help out there.
So that's going to be a missed shot there by Maddox. Maddox kind of having a quiet night as well. But nonetheless, still a fantastic team effort. Everyone scoring 38-14 with 3:50 to go here in the third.
And Jude James forcing another turnover here.
Yeah, Jude James, fantastic minutes off the bench. Jude James, what a bucket by the sophomore. Can't get a better full look than that.
With the slight hezzy and then goes right up to get the defender off. It's a great movement, and he completed the turnover. That's all in all, great Jude James play right there.
So there's a find inside. That time to Looney, Daniel Looney, but no good on the shot. Here's Maddox to James again. James is going to be fouled easily there. Under the basket by Zarius Looney, and that might have just been a frustration foul for Zarius as he's now bending over, and I don't know if he's gotten much minutes off the bench here, or off the court.
Yeah, you know, and you can understand his frustration. I mean, he's missing his two sidekicks essentially, and really having a heavy workload tonight.
What a find to Wibbenmeyer, and that's another bucket for the Vikings. So we're about 2 points away from a running clock here in the second half. Hopefully Holt maybe can try to make a quick comeback, one we've never seen.
And unfortunately, we couldn't really see Royce going up with that due to the position we're in with the ref, but we promise it was Royce.
So out of the starters that's starting this game, it's only James and Maddox left as Fortner and Trupiano are out of this one. Same with Booker Simmons. Yeah, there's another tip away, that time by James. He's to Kirby. Now it's James. Matt James, he'll go up with it. Matt James puts his body into a Holt defender, and it's a rebound to Caden Moore. Here come the other way are the Holt Indians trying to fight. Inside, you got to think they're maybe take some threes and try to get some points back in this one, but it's all Zarius Looney underneath the basket. 42-16 is the score, 2:16 to go here in this one. As Maddox loses holds of it, but looked for a foul, didn't get it. Coming the other way is Crisco. That's Looney again inside. Jump ball going to be called. Looney definitely frustrated there. And it's going to be on Matt James as the foul. Or no, it's going to be on Jude James with the foul. Checking in is Lucas Brzezinski for Sam Maddox.
Yeah, this is a good game for your bench players to get some good experience and get the legs ready and moving, and get them ready for a next big game in case they need them.
Yeah, their next game coming on Friday at Troy Buchanan. If the girls' game is canceled, we'll have that one here for you. If not, we'll have the girls' game on Howell Activities Network as the girls take on, I believe that's against Fort Zumwalt West. And here's now Matt James inside to Jude James. Over to Lucas Brzezinski. Here's Wibbenmeyer. Wibbenmeyer out to Matt James. Matt James for 30. That's no good. Rebound, no. To Wibbenmeyer, goes off of a Holt Indian. Nope. Brzezinski tried to save it last, so he was the last one to touch it. 42-18 is the score. Minute and a half to go here in the third. Here's Caden Moore. Moore now. Finds Masnica. Masnica back to Moore. Moore thought about three. Makes a move against Kirby. He's going to take it. There's a foul call before there was even a shot taken up. So we'll see if it's on the floor or up. Going to call push. That's going to be against Jude James, his third.
Yeah, you know, that's one one of the issues you find with super active defenders like Jude James is they start tallying up those fouls a little bit, and as the little minutes he's played, he's got 3 already. But like I said, it's a defensive effort that really makes him active and involved, and could get a little bit more contact.
And another foul called on the floor. Who's this one going to go against? We'll have to see. That one's against Lucas Brzezinski. But you just mentioned it, you know, Jude James, the football player, big, active, strong defender on the football field, you know, and he does the same here on the basketball court. Checking back in is going to be Zarius Looney.
Like you said, Zarius Looney's seeing very little break time, and I can imagine he'll be sleeping well after this one tonight because he's out there and he's trying to take on the whole workload, that's for sure.
And he's taking on a Howell team that averages 59 a game, you know, and he's pretty much been all the scoring that Holt has had. That's a 3 from Matt James. That's good. From Matt James, that makes it 45-18 with less than 30 seconds to go now here in the third quarter.
With a very smooth shot from Matt James there, which, again, this is a good time to get some players to get some practice in certain aspects, and as you see, really perfected that 3 there.
That was a great job by Wimmermeyer to take it away, but then he loses it. That's a 3 now from Holt. That's no good. Jude gets the rebound. Jude now heaves it, caught by Matt James. Matt James to Shane Kirby. Back out to Lucas Brzezinski. Brzezinski for 3. He's got the 3! Lucas Brzezinski, ice in his veins, up by 30 going into the fourth quarter. That's a deep 3 from Crisco. He misses it. So we'll have running clock here to start the fourth quarter. 48-13 is the score. Vikings ahead of the Holt Indians. We'll take a quick timeout. You're listening to Howell Viking basketball here on the Howell Activities. Back here at Holt High School, 48-18 is the score on the court to start this fourth quarter. Royce Wibbemeyer, Corey McCauley, Jude James, Lucas Brzezinski, and Shane Kirby.
Yeah, you know, that's another good thing about these games is you get fairly unfamiliar faces taking some shots and getting some playing time.
And there is McCauley as he does the fadeaway jumper that time, makes it 50-18.
And you could see the expression of, you know, joy on the bench whenever Luke Brzezinski hit that 3 there. As you can see some, like I said, fairly unfamiliar faces making some big plays.
Yeah, you got to think about it, that this team, you know, they are so deep and a lot of players don't get a lot of playing time, but no matter who is on the court at all times, they have some sort of talent and could add to some team, you know, like Royce Wibbemeyer. He could start on any team in this area, you got to think, you know, and Corey McCauley, he's so athletic underneath, and same thing with David Tribiano. When Sam Thompson's playing, Tribiano can start. He would start on this Holt team if, you know, he was on the Holt team. And Royce Wibbemeyer with a beautiful Euro step makes it 52-18.
It's a well drawn out offensive play there as he really cut through those defenders well to find the basket.
And something you gotta love too is how hyped up the bench gets for Howell. No matter what, with a big lead or a close game, this bench is definitely jumping. Even when they're losing and they get buckets, they are bumping outside the Kirby.
You know, I think that's a huge part of this team's chemistry. You know, you see him get excited for players and guys who are the unexpected hero.
So there's a endless whistle. They're calling in subs. Not sure what the point of the whistle is there. I'm pretty sure you have to do subs if there's a stoppage in play. But, oh, they are going to call a timeout. So confused what the whistle galore was about there, but
there's been a few unexpected whistles that I don't know if either team were ready for a whistle tonight. You know, we saw a timeout called that wasn't a timeout, and
the end of the half there with the end of the quarter there with the free throws,
and you know, an endless whistle that, you know, I think he just really liked the sound of it. I'm not sure, but
getting paid by the whistle blower. So the score is 54-18 here at Holt High School. The last time these two teams met was 58-28. So we're almost already at that mark for Howell, and we still have 6.5 minutes to go. And there's only one more thing I want to see this Howell team accomplish tonight, and that's Corey McCauley dunk. Because Corey McCauley, you know, he's not the biggest player on this roster for the Vikings. You know, he is pretty tall. He's 6'4". He's not the 6'6" David Trupiano or the 6'10" Sam Thompson. But the boy can dunk. He's got some hops on him. If you ever watch him in warm-ups, me and Billy, we always are talking about it, and we love watching Corey McCauley play just because of he can just get up there, and I just need a fast break dunk from McCauley because we haven't seen one. We've kind of been deprived ever since Thompson went out.
So you're telling me I should be on the lookout for a dunk maybe tonight, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm all for it.
Now in the game is Xavier Machado, the junior, the 6'5" junior for Howell. Rebound goes to Corey McCauley. McCauley going to give it now to, looks to be Brzezinski. Now it goes to Sparks. Sparks inside McCauley. McCauley going jump ball, and it's going to be blocked by Looney. We'll see who the foul is on, if it's on Looney or Caden Moore.
Yeah, you know, unfortunately, whenever you got Zarius Looney under the basket, it might be a tough time to go up for a dunk.
You got to think, and Looney, you saw his words. He says, "What do I got to do?" You know, and you got to feel bad for the kid. You know, he averages 13 a game. He's one of the heart and souls of this team, but definitely is put it all on the line tonight. But you got to have more than one player on the team. You know, that's what is a team.
Yeah, you know, as I mentioned a few times before now, it's unfortunate that he didn't have his two sidekicks there, which Emmanuel McLemore, who a lot of times does a lot of the load carrying, you know. I mean, he's averaging almost 16 points a game, and not to see him out in a game like this, it's unfortunate for a team like that. And, you know, as mentioned before, Landon English, another player who's a key part of this offense, didn't get to see any of that. So a little unfortunate, and it's a tough time to be down players for sure.
So here is Crisco, that's still some of the starters in the game for Holt. Maybe trying to make an immaculate comeback. There's going to be a foul on the floor. That's going to go against Brzezinski again, I believe. No, that's going against Royce Wibbemeyer. That's going to be his first. You can just see this whole bench is at the edge of their seats right now and waiting for an explosion to happen. And you just love to see that if you're head coach Kurt Jacob. Kurt Jacob finally able to take his first seat of the night, and that's a Robert Mascanica able to find the bucket underneath and makes it 56-20. There's Sparks with the jumper, makes it 58-20.
Nice little spin move to get himself into position for a great shot there, smooth.
So it's a 38-point lead right now for the Vikings. Definitely their biggest thus far this year. Their biggest one thus far this year was that 58-28 win last time these two teams play, and it's looking to be even bigger this time with 3:49 to go. And that's the three that time from Holt. That's no good. Rebound, though, goes to Holt, and it's going to be Jackson Crisco starting all over again for his offense. Gives it. Now it's Daniel Looney. That's a three, though. That's no good. Brzezinski with the rebound, and he's going to be tripped up, and he's going to come down the other way. Or it's going to be inbounded from Brzezinski underneath Holt's bucket.
One thing this team didn't have to worry about is getting out their parkas for getting a cold streak, because this team stayed hot this whole game. They really haven't let off the gas, and looks like they're going to be taking their winning streak here to 6 games in a row now.
You love to see it for the Vikings. And there's not really a coach or a team that deserves it more, you know. Like, this team has dealt with so much adversity with quarantining, having players out, you know, during Christmas time. Like when we called that game at St. Charles, and then the one right after that when they had players quarantined, you know. Kirby seemed to be out. There was other players that were out due to quarantine, and then they had the 2-week off period, come back and didn't miss a beat, you know. Their highest scorer player, you know, one of the best players in all the region, going out with the ankle injury, still winning that game against a really good Eureka team. And that's what good teams do. They don't make excuses. They just find ways to win.
Absolutely. I mean, this team truly has, you know, like you said, they've had to deal with some of the struggles of the current situation we're in, and they really haven't let off the gas, you know. Sure, they've had some obstacles, but they've done a great job answering to them, and they got themselves in a great position with the great team here to really make some noise in this later in this season here.
That's going to be a foul on the court. Not sure what the point of the foul is. Maybe to hold them not to try to score again, I guess. But it's 22-58 here with running clock on, minute 43 to go.
You know, another good thing about this is, yes, it's definitely a large margin victory, but it's good to see these starters be able to take a break and cheer on some of these other guys who, like I said, unexpected heroes, essentially.
And that was Wibbenmeyer trying to find Machado. Sparks, though, trying to get the loose ball, not able to. And here comes Holt the other way. Now here's Crisco. Crisco outside to Masnica. Masnica outside again to Crisco. Minute 5 to go here, up by 58-22. He's going to try to do the math here, but not a math major, as everyone knows us comm majors are not the best in the math subject.
Yeah, I know how to speak. I don't know how to add too well, though.
I ran out of fingers a long time ago. That's Jackson Crisco with the 3, makes it 58-25. Or 24, excuse me. That was only counted as a 2. But there's Sparks that time. Gets the jumper to go, makes it 60-24. So the Vikings sticking with their 60 points per game as a team, only allowing 50. That's definitely going to go down a couple hairs with this big win and only allowing 24. Here comes the Corey McCauley. McCauley, can we see the dunk here? Nope, he's going to slow down. Now he's going. McCauley jump shot from the elbow. That's good off the backboard for Corey McCauley. Makes it 62-24. Another whistle. Clock's still moving, and that's going to do it. And I'll do it here at Holt High School. 62-24 is the score. We knew it was going to be maybe a lopsided affair. We thought the only way they could do it is if they had their big 3, and they only had one piece of their big 3, and it's a tough one to overcome, and just what a wonderful night from Howell.
Yeah, their presence definitely was missed. You know, they had a decent effort here and there, but Howell, again, not letting their foot off the gas and not having to worry about getting cold, because as they remain hot and taking their winning streak to 6 now, and this is the team to beat in this area right now for sure.
Yeah, Howell was ranked number 7 by STL today last week. I'm sure that ranking has gone up even this week from that win over Francis Howell Central and Eureka last week. And it's a wonderful performance that we've seen in these last 6 games as the Vikings move their record now to 13-3, and they're looking for Troy. Troy put up a good fight, you know, against Howell last time these two teams met, and they're looking for another big win against Troy now at Troy Buchanan on Friday night.
Definitely, you know, they're going into Troy, and like I said, being the team to beat. And with that being said, teams are out. They're looking for your number, and teams like to take down the guy that's hot right now. And so you got to watch out for that, because you know Troy's going to bring everything they got. And like you said, a close game the first time they met, and I'm excited to see what this next one brings us.
Absolutely. So more action coming here on the Howell Activities Network. No girls game tomorrow, as those have been canceled. And all the boys games also canceled for Fort Zumwalt West. So it seems as if Fort Zumwalt West, unfortunately, having some COVID issues. We were there a couple weeks ago. That was a good game between the West boys and our boys. So Thursday night, though, we have girls varsity at Timberland. We're hoping to bring that one for you here on the Howell Activities Network. Just got to make sure it's okay with Timberland, and then Troy Buchanan on the other side on Friday night for the boys. They're at Troy Buchanan, and the girls are hosting Troy Buchanan. So if that game is not canceled to COVID protocol and for any reason, we'll have that one here for you on the Howell Activities Network. For my partner, Michael Harvey, I'm Will Crawford. Thanks for tuning in with us tonight. Your final score, 62-24 in favor of